Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Ruach Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, who rule well, and salutations and much love to the rest of you sincere Akim, pushing the word in truth and sincerity. This is the Cleric Azar coming at you with another lesson. I am continuing in my lot to bring you my ongoing series from excerpts of Hollywood's Factory of Perverseness, another observation of predictive programming, how art imitates life and vice versa. Just a reminder, the purpose of my videos is to show correlations. A correlation is an observation of a mutual relationship or connection between two or more things. I use movies, scenes, or films to extract or extrapolate a narrative. I'm not glorifying the Hollywood culture or life. I have a wide knowledge of films, whether they be foreign or domestic, and I just use snippets as an example to bring out similarities in those correlations. To quote Cecil B. DeMille, the greatest source of material for motion pictures is the Bible. I call this lesson, "The Leviathan is Real." The image I have on display is from a film I watched 2 years ago. Of course, being in this truth, I reflected on this particular movie. This movie was released on January 10th, 2020. The title of it is Underwater, directed by William Eubank. I'm going to get right into it. Basically, this movie starred Kristen Stewart from that vampire film that she was doing back in the day, where she cheated on Robert Pattinson, was a daggone director. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I wasn't really into that. But as far as this film was concerned, this is almost like a comeback film for her. But it flew under the radar. But I definitely liked it for its the way it was visually shot, because you have certain films that are shot underneath water and they don't look as good and terrifying. But this movie, boy, it made you want to stay out of the deep, man. I'll tell you. Well, Esau, he's the one mainly should be staying out of the deep as well as the space. But well, anyway, spoiler alert, I gotta skip right to the end. Basically, this there was a underwater sea station, and it was in the Mariana Trench. And I'm not sure if you know about the Mariana Trench, but it's the deepest trench that's in the ocean. And even if you put Mount Everest into this particular trench, there'll be at least 1.2 miles still of water above it. That's how deep this trench is. Okay, so and I also want to thank James Cameron. With the help of his brother, he went down there in a pod and took some video and picture footage for Avatar 2 to get an idea of what he wanted to shoot for those underwater sequences. And he already did an underwater movie with Abyss, but here he is again doing it with Avatar 2. And as if we make it to see that film with the way things are going in the world, who knows? But basically, this is an undersea water space station, just like an Abyss. But basically, there's these beings down there. And they're tearing stuff up. But towards the end, the Leviathan came out of nowhere and basically destroyed this station. And this thing was huge. I want to say, I mean, if you've seen any of the Moby Dick films, I mean, Moby Dick is big. But and even what's that other film they did? With the daggone big that thing they woke up. It's like a big shark or something. I forget the name of that film. But this thing was bigger than that. It's bigger than Jaws, anything you think of. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen underwater in any film. Probably next to like something like the Cloverfield creature. It was probably around the same size, if not bigger. And even like some of the Godzilla films, it just this creature like paled in comparison to that creature. Well, anyway, this creature came and basically destroyed this undersea space station with one crush. And there's another name for it. So if you go into the Wikipedia page, they actually call it something else, because it was actually created by some fantasy fiction writer by the name of H.P. Lovecraft. But no, they get this from the Bible, brother. And some of you sisters have watched these videos. But as soon as I saw it, I knew, hey, this is the Leviathan. Okay. And at one point in the ancient times, sailing the ocean blue sea, that wasn't something that was looked upon, especially by the heathens. Now, of course, King Solomon's people, they were, the Israelites, they were able to go the transatlantic sea, whether it be Atlantic or Pacific, but the other heathen nations, they couldn't do it. Okay. we maybe want to think about bringing out the Apocrypha, because in the book of Ecclesiasticus, specifically Sirach, the 43rd chapter, I'm going to start at the 23rd verse, and it goes into how dangerous sailing the sea is. Sirach chapter 43, starting at verse 23. By his counsel he appeaseth the deep, and planteth islands therein. They that sail on the sea tell of the danger thereof. And when we hear it with our ears, we marvel thereat. For therein be strange and wondrous works, variety of all kinds of beasts, and whales created. Okay, so just like I was mentioning Moby Dick and, Jaws, man, this Leviathan is nothing to play with. And this thing actually exists. Okay, this thing was created since the dawn of time. Okay, it's been around for a long time. Okay, and basically, it's mentioned of it even in the Old Testament. Okay, without even speaking of the Apocrypha, it's mentioned also by name in the book of Psalms in the 104th chapter. And I'm going to bring that out. Psalms 104, starting at the 24th verse. I'm going to read down to verse 27. And it reads, O Yahweh, how manifold are thy works, in wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. Verse 25, so is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping innumerable, both small and great beasts. Now here's the point. Verse 26, there go the ships, there is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. Verse 27, these wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. Okay, so one of these days, all right, this thing's going to show up, and he's going to show, he or she, he's going to show its face. Okay, we're going to see this thing in the end times. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to probably make Godzilla look like a little puppy. Okay, but basically, when I saw this Leviathan in this particular film underwater, when it was crushing that particular undersea station, Salakia, I was thinking about it happening once the elite tried to hide. Some of the elite have underwater sea stations, okay, but they're not going to be destroyed by them because they got to go into slavery, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Leviathan is going to be given an order to at least shake them up a little bit, all right, and maybe even crush certain areas where there's not any population within this actual station, okay. Because basically, these elite or the descendants of Esau, they're the workers of iniquity, and they can't hide themselves. Even if they go into space stations, whether they go into the mountains, whether they go underground, whether they go into these underwater sea stations. Okay, the book of Job backs it up as well. When you go into the book of Job, chapter 34, I'm going to start at. I'm only going to read verse 22. There is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. Okay, so it's impossible for them to hide themselves. Okay, all right, and another part of the Old Testament, and I'm basically going to end it on this. Two more scriptures, and then I'm going to end it. I always like to end my videos on a good note with some type of silver lining, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So in other words, there is a happy ending. In the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 3, it speaks of the descendants or the elite of Esau trying to hide themselves once Yahushua returns with the angels. And New Jerusalem descends from those chariots, the ones that the people ignorantly call UFOs. Once they show up, they're going to rip these people out of these sea stations, underground caverns, and the space stations, okay, that they're going to try to hide themselves. Amos 9, verse 3, it reads, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out. See that? I will search and take them out thence, and though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea. Okay, and it's interesting that in this particular movie, like I said, they brought out the Mariana Trench. They showed that there was this underwater sea station down there. They showed the Leviathan. It's not just a coincidence that this is coming from the scriptures. Okay, let me read that again. Amos chapter 9, verse 3. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent. And this is what this Leviathan is. Okay, it's most likely a reptile. Okay, you were taught about the dinosaurs. You were taught about undersea creatures back then. All right, these things actually existed, and they exist today. All right, And there's no telling what they're not extinct. They still exist. Okay, but that's a video for another day. And thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. All right, so look at these big old teeth, and the fact that this person's down there in the underwater in this particular shot that I got. And, this Leviathan is basically saying, feed me Seymour. All right, an inside joke if you're not familiar with that film, Little Shop of Horrors. Okay, all right, reading on. All right, but basically, the elect are going to rip these high elite descendants of Esau, and they're going to be bound in chains. Okay, and they're going to be the first one to go into slavery. Oh, Salakia. Let me go into the book of Psalms. Psalms 149, verse 8, backs up what I just finished saying. Psalms 149, verse 8 reads, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. Okay, and that's how, in fact, let me see if I need to even read a little more of that. Yeah, I got okay, let me go. Yeah, let me get start verse 7, Salakia. In fact, I'll start at verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Who are the saints? The children of Israel. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, so basically, like I said, and once I saw this film, I had to think about this actually happened in real life. All right, you got to have an imagination. That's what the elder apostles always speak of, And Esau doesn't have an imagination. He just rips these particular ideas right out the scriptures. Okay, and this was the climax of the film. And so I ain't see it coming, but just like Esau, he likes to take, rob, steal, and kill. And he definitely stole this idea for this film. So I recommend you guys check it out. You can find it on Amazon. I read it out and I checked. I kind of enjoyed it. Kristen Stewart with her adulterous having self. And if you're into that Edomite chick, which I'm not, but like I said, it's a story for another lesson. Check it out though. I just wanted to share that. Little one, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, who gives me the strength and the spirit to continue to strive and endure in these last days. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and on to the next video.